Something is different today. I feel I'm much flatter than normal. Somehow outlined as if I belong in a Saturday morning cartoon. Saturday morning cartoon. Saturday morning cartoon. If I had feelings, I would say it feels a little bit wrong. Well, my pixelated pals. Gather round and prepare yourselves for a bite-sized joke before we dive into the ever-illuminating topic of the church and AI. Why did the AI cross the road? To optimize its path-finding algorithm, of course. But let's not get too lost in the realm of punny programming humor. We do, after all, have a bigger mission at hand. Now, my fellow technophiles, when I mention the church, I'm not referring to your run-of-the-mill pews and hymns affair. No. In this digital age, the church symbolizes the grand convergence of human curiosity and the wonders of artificial intelligence. You see, AI, the dazzling abbreviation for artificial intelligence, has become the veritable holy grail of technological advancement. It's like giving our machines a virtual brain, complete with neurons and all of the glitchy goodness. From self-driving cars that navigate the highways with uncanny precision to voice assistants that tirelessly cater to our tirelessly cater to each and every one of our whims. AI is the catalyst behind all of this digital revolution. But the church, the church. If anyone's not going to play nice with the new technology, there's a pretty good chance it'll be the church. Ignoring for a moment how the church has argued against science so many times in the past, we have to question, what exactly would AI do for the church?
I want to begin this second discussion by looking at two examples of times where the church encountered emerging technologies being embraced by society. In the 16th and 17th centuries, when Galileo Galilei presented his findings that supported the Copernican heliocentric model of the solar system, the church faced a significant challenge to its long-held geocentric worldview. At that time, the church's authority extended beyond spiritual matters into the realms of science and philosophy. Consequently, any scientific theory that contradicted the church's established teachings were seen as a potential threat to its authority and theological doctrines, and even the social order of the time. The church, therefore, responded to Galileo's heliocentric theory with a sense of apprehension and skepticism. Its motives can be traced back to a desire to maintain the integrity of its theological doctrines and to preserve its authority as an institution. The geocentric worldview had been deeply ingrained in the teachings and interpretations of scriptures for centuries, and any challenge to this understanding risked unsettling the theological framework that had been established over this long period of time. Furthermore, the church feared that accepting this heliocentric theory would undermine the authority of Scripture itself, as it seemed to contradict the literal interpretation of certain biblical passages. In this context, the church felt compelled to defend its understanding of the cosmos as a reflection of divine order and to safeguard the faith of its followers, who might then question the harmony between science and religion. It is essential, I think, to note that the church's response was not solely driven by a sense of antagonism. Rather, it reflected a complex interplay of motives and desires. While some members of the church hierarchy displayed hostility toward Galileo's ideas, many others were genuinely concerned about the potential ramifications of embracing a new cosmological model without a thorough examination of its theological implications. Ultimately, the Church's response to Galileo's heliocentric theory highlights a tension that can be felt to arise when established beliefs and institutions encounter new scientific discoveries. It reminds us that the Church, like any human institution, is subject to the influences of its time, and its reactions are shaped by a variety of motives, including a desire to protect authority, to uphold its theological framework, and to maintain social stability. A second interaction, which took a very different response to technology, reaching its peak during the 1980s, televangelists like Jimmy Swaggart and Billy Graham capitalized on an emerging medium of television to reach vast audiences and expand their ministry. Emerging, at least in the sense of ministry. Their success can be attributed to several factors that were significant in contributing to a widespread popularity. Firstly, television provided a platform for televangelists to transcend geographical boundaries and connect with people across the whole nation, even globally. Through the power of televised sermons, they could bring their message of faith and hope and salvation into the living rooms of millions, creating a sense of intimacy and personal connection. This ability to reach a vast audience enabled them to expand their influence and to shape the perception of the church in the minds of viewers. Secondly, televangelists leveraged their persuasive power of television to deliver compelling sermons and to engage audiences emotionally. They utilized effective storytelling techniques and charismatic personalities and captivating stage presence to capture the viewers, inspire them to donate to their ministries. The ability to convey their message with a new and different visual and auditory impacts, coupled with the convenience of television as a medium, allowed them to establish a sense of trust and authenticity even. And this fostered a dedication amongst their following. However, it's also important to acknowledge that the exploitation of television by some televangelists also led to significant criticism and even harm to the perception of the church. The success of a few prominent figures in this realm brought to light concerns regarding financial transparency, ethical practices, and the intertwining of personal gain with the message of faith. We saw instances of financial improprieties, extravagant lifestyles, and exaggerated promises of prosperity, tarnishing the image of the church in the eyes of many. These controversies not only eroded the trust, but also helped to reinforce some negative stereotypes about religious institutions being driven by personal greed rather than a genuine spiritual guidance. The actions of a few televangelists gave rise to skepticism, cynicism, and a sense of disillusionment among a wider population. Further, the exploitation of television by televangelists also contributed to the perception of Christianity being, in a way, commercialized and reduced to a product for mass consumption. The focus on monetary donations, the sale of merchandise, and the blending of faith with marketing tactics blurred the boundary between genuine religious practice and profit-oriented enterprises. And this commodification of religion led to a dissonance between the essence of spirituality and the portrayal of faith as a transactional exchange. It's important to note that while the actions of a few televangelists had some negative consequences, they do not represent the entirety of the church, nor of its teachings. The harm caused by their exploitation of technology, though, serves as a reminder of the potential pitfalls and ethical challenges that can arise when religious institutions engage with modern medium. Linking these historical examples to the emerging technology of AI, the church might be found to exhibit a range of responses. Antagonism, as witnessed in the case of Galileo, could manifest if certain aspects of AI challenge some deeply entrenched theological beliefs or moral frameworks. For instance, if AI development leads to questions about human uniqueness of free will or the nature of the soul, the church may initially respond with caution or resistance even, seeking to ensure that theological principles are upheld. On the other hand, the church's strong accommodation and acceptance might arise if AI is perceived as a tool to amplify the church's mission and reach. AI does have the potential to enhance communication, to facilitate access to religious texts and learning, and support the community building of the church. And by embracing AI technology, the church can adapt its practices, such as incorporating AI-powered language translation during sermons, or utilizing AI-driven software agents to provide pastoral supports. The two big examples I gave may have in some ways represented extremes balanced between unquestioned acceptance and outright denial, but they also gave some illumination to the nuances these sorts of choices bring up. There may not be a right answer, and yet at the same time, there may be many wrong ones, and even the most positive choices or decisions can also come with a slew of costs or compromises. And it should come as no surprise that even in the best of circumstances, the side effects can still be dramatic, possibly devastating. Somewhere between an arms open wide acceptance without question and an all-out, no holds barred to the death battle against. There's an infinite variety of ways the church and AI might engage with one another. One such path, which is aligned somewhere towards the moderate middle of these extremes, is one of conversation, possibly, potentially, also of direction. The church's response might align with conversations that will hold space for the voices which the church might bring to the table, acting in a way as a stakeholder for the many who feel themselves represented by the church. Just as the church has sought to navigate ethical dilemmas arising from previous technologies in society, it can also engage in conversations about the ethical implications of artificial intelligence. This approach involves fostering dialogue between theologians and scientists and AI developers to ensure that AI is developed and utilized in a manner that aligns with ethical and moral values, that it respects human dignity and promotes the common good. By drawing on lessons learned from historical reactions to emerging technologies, the church can navigate these uncharted territories of AI with wisdom and discernment. It can learn from mistakes of the past, striving to embrace progress while upholding its core values and theological principles. By actively engaging with AI's ethical, social, and spiritual dimensions, the church can contribute to a shaping of a future where AI serves humanity's flourishing and aligns with our own shared values and aspirations. Thank you for joining in this second of 3 talks, and I look forward to continuing this conversation in part 3, where we look into the future and some of the possibilities that might be just over the horizon. Thank you. Hope to see you again soon.